Roy, what did you think? How do you think mine looked in there?
What it was.
All right, he's done, bro. He's done.
What about you against Jake?
All right, he's done.
No?
I mean, that's Mike. That's vintage Mike. I was glad to see it actually because it means that Mike ain't out here just going through the motion. He's serious about it, you know. So I liked it.
Yeah, like his energy was like very calming throughout the week.
Yes, it was until now. And the fact that it came out now, I'm glad to see that because if I hadn't saw that, I would be worried that this fight may not even be for real.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Quick Rundowns. You already know this is the place where we break down everything happening in sports, news, and entertainment. And today, we're diving into one of the most talked about events in boxing right now, the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. Yep, you heard that right. We all saw what went down, and let's just say it's left a lot of people scratching their heads. So let's break it down. Did Jake Paul really beat Mike Tyson? And what does this mean for the future of boxing? Stick around, because you won't want to miss this one.
What up, y'all? Hey, we saw what happened tonight. Mike came out, gave it all he had. His legs, you could tell, weren't with him tonight, so it was a little bit difficult. But thank God Jake did knock him out because I would have felt bad for Jake because Andre Ward was definitely going to go after Jake if he did knock Tyson out. So thank God he didn't. Thank God everybody ended up healthy, happy. Now I ain't got to worry about Andre coming out of retirement no time soon, so we all good.
Entire fight. You know, Jake Paul, the boxer, is much better than people want to give him credit for, but I don't know that this does anything for that because he fought a 58-year-old man. He fought a 58-year-old man to a decision. That 58-year-old man comes out on the other side looking pretty good, if you ask me. He looked like you would expect a 58-year-old man to look in a professional boxer.
All right, so here we go. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I mean, this was wild. I still can't believe it actually happened. First off, shout out to Mike Tyson for even stepping back into the ring at 58 years old. I don't care what you say, that's crazy. But let's be real. He did not look like the Mike Tyson we remember. His legs were gone. He wasn't moving like he used to. And it really felt like he was there for a payday more than a fight. And I don't want to sound harsh, but it's hard to watch someone who was once the baddest man on the planet look like that in the ring.
I don't know. Those last couple of rounds, it did feel like both of them, Jake and Mike, both, no one really kind of did much. And I heard in the press conference, which is why I'm waiting to make a video, Jake was like, oh, I didn't want to hurt him in the last few rounds. So, I don't know. I just don't know really what do you come out of here saying, right? Like, I mean, you say it was a good night of business, for sure. But it'll be interesting to see where Jake goes next because I'm not really sure what that performance says. You know, like what does it say for what he wants to do? World championship? Nothing. What does it say for who his next opponent should be? Nothing.
Hey, guys that box for a living and guys that are your age. How about that?
He says he wants to fight Canelo. I'm just saying what he. That's what he.
Hear you. Then why is he not fighting Canelo?
Canelo. I don't think Canelo wants to waste his time.
Yeah.
I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you
Needs these guys. Jake needs Tyson and needs all these other people because that you know everybody's going to tune in to hope that Mike Tyson knocks him out.
Right.
They're not tuning in because they think Jake Paul's a great fighter and they want to see him compete.
I just felt so mentally like focused and locked in. There was like no nerves, no adrenaline. Even though my body wasn't as good in shape because of my ankle sprain, I just mentally, everything's slowing down in the ring. I'm not getting as nervous and stuff like that. So that was
Did you
really
notice there's 75,000 people watching? Did that get you at all? How many people
Did I notice it? No, honestly, it's harder fighting in an arena because it's louder. In the stadium, it's not that loud, so I liked it better.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Jake.
Now, Jake Paul, we all know Jake has been doing his thing in the boxing world, but this performance, I don't know, man. He didn't exactly light the world on fire. Honestly, it felt like he was more focused on not hurting Mike Tyson than actually trying to win. I get it. Tyson's 58, but Jake could have ended that fight early. He had multiple opportunities to take Tyson out and he didn't. He was more about keeping it respectful, staying cautious, and let's be real, protecting his brand. But was it really a fight though? Or just a glorified sparring session?
What are your thoughts? You're part of the big commentary team, which is brilliant. What are your thoughts, first of all, about this happening?
My thoughts are it's extraordinary for Mike Tyson to be 58 years old and be able to go in and perform, make him get himself in shape, which he has done, and he can perform and make $20 million. How could you be mad at that for anything? And you got to give Jake credit because of the following that Jake has, because of the people that Jake has brought into this side of the arena, is what's allowing Mike to be able to do this. So you can't hate either guy. And to carry it a step further on Jake's behalf, for me, for him to give Katie Taylor $6.8 million to fight as a woman against Amanda Serrano, I'm sure they're paying her well too, I just know the numbers, but these girls deserve it because they had one of the best fights you ever want to see.
I think it's 6.8 million for both.
Oh, that's
something
good
like
then.
3.5 million. But it's extraordinary money.
Now, we got Roy Jones Jr. in the mix, and you know he's got some strong opinions on this. Roy came out swinging after the fight, calling for Jake Paul to be banned from boxing. He's not having it, saying Jake's disrespecting the sport. And look, I get it. Boxing's been around for decades, and it's not supposed to be a joke. But the reality is, this is the new era of celebrity boxing. Whether we like it or not, people are tuning in, and they're paying big money to watch it. Roy did give Tyson some love, though he said Tyson's ability to get back in the ring at his age, go through the grueling training, and still compete at that level is impressive. And honestly, I don't think anyone can knock Mike's passion for boxing. But let's face it, Tyson wasn't going to be knocking out Jake Paul anytime soon.
Criticising this event, and that's what it is. It's an event. Boxing is the umbrella of this. People must understand that Mike Tyson is coming back, and for those people that weren't around in that era, that don't remember that era, they have a chance now to see this boxing icon, this legend, redo those ring walks, etc., etc. Forget that they're saying, yeah, but it's not the Mike Tyson of old. Of course it's not. We all get older, and we all get to that stage. You go, but what we're getting here is we live in a world of entertainment, and I think that's what Mike is putting on here. And Jake Paul has, his own reasons for doing this.
They actually fought. It did not look like either of them was taking anything off of their punches. It did not look like this thing was staged. They put 72,000 people in that arena. They put 72,000 people in that arena to watch that fight. That's a crazy number.
Here's the thing we can't ignore, though. This is business. I mean, Tyson made what, $20 a million for this fight? Jake Paul's following is crazy, and that's why this fight happened. They know people are going to tune in. And you know what? You can't really be mad at that. Boxing's always been about making money, whether you're fighting for a title or just making it a spectacle. And I don't care what anyone says. Jake Paul has brought a lot of eyes to the sport. Sure, it's not the traditional way, but at the end of the day, it's all about the numbers. And when you've got a fan base like Jake's, this is what you get. But was it all just a gimmick? I mean, let's be honest. This fight was marketed like it was some epic clash between two legends, but it was anything but that.
Well, the beautiful thing that we miss, what people don't understand, is that because of what Jake has done to transform his whole life, he's now giving people like Mike Tyson, because myself, Mike Tyson, even you, we missed the social media era. We missed that era. But for Jake to be able to come now and let Mike Tyson come back and revisit what we all missed is a beautiful thing. So, like I said, once again, I can't say nothing bad about nobody, because how in the world is it that he can bring it to where Mike Tyson now can enjoy the fruits and labors of social?
Mike Tyson's skills are long gone, and Jake Paul's not exactly a seasoned pro. The fight was built up as this huge event, but it felt like a sideshow more than a legitimate boxing match. I don't want to be harsh, but the whole thing lacked the energy, the drama, and the real competitive spirit that we all expect from a fight of this magnitude. In the 2-minute rounds, that was just weird. What was the point of that? It totally threw off the pacing, and both guys looked tired, even though the fight was only 16 minutes long. It just didn't flow right. After the fight, Jake Paul brushed it off. He was like, no one cares about Mike Tyson losing, and honestly, he's kind of right. Tyson's legacy is secure. But Jake, man, when you're talking like that, it just makes people question if this was all about the show. I get it. It's about the money, the spectacle, the brand. But when you're talking about the GOAT, like Mike Tyson, there's got to be some level of respect there. You can't just wave it off like it's nothing. Jake also threw in that he didn't want to hurt Mike. Okay, I get that. But if you have a chance to end the fight, why not take it? Was this really a fight, or was it just another staged event for a paycheck?
Lennox, what did you think of Mike? What did you think of Mike in there?
Even Lennox Lewis, a former heavyweight champ, weighed in, and you know when Lennox speaks, people listen. He said Tyson's legacy is untarnished by this loss, and honestly, I agree. A fight like this, at Tyson's age, was never going to define his career. But still, seeing Tyson in the ring again was nostalgic as hell. It's just a shame the performance didn't live up to the hype.
Lennox, you proud of Mike for getting in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
How did he look to you? Sorry.
So what are the fans saying? The actions have been all over the place. Some fans say, hey, Jake showed restraint and Tyson got a nice payday. But others are calling it disrespectful, saying it was more about entertainment than actual competition.
Hey, guys that box for a living and guys that are your age. How about that?
He says he wants to fight Canelo. I'm just saying what he. That's what he
hear you. Then why is he not fighting Canelo?
Canelo, I don't think Canelo wants to waste his time.
Yeah.
That you're a cheater, and I believe that you
needs these guys. Jake needs Tyson and needs all these other people because everybody's going to tune in to hope that Mike Tyson knocks him out.
Right.
They're not tuning in because they think Jake Paul's a great fighter and they want to see him compete.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Quick Rundowns, the show where we break down the biggest news in sports, entertainment, and everything in between. Today, we've got a wild one for you. Dana White just absolutely shredded Jake Paul in a way that left everybody talking. And I'm here to give you the rundown on why this drama might be more than just trash talk. It might be a fight for the future of combat sports itself.
and that thing that you came out with today, nobody on earth thinks that you really wrote that. You're too stupid. And for those of you that don't know, if you've ever watched one of his fights and you see when they do the stare down.
Let's get into it. All right, so let's set the stage. Dana White, the UFC boss, the guy who turned mixed martial arts into $1 billion empire, basically put Jake Paul on blast this week. And when Dana goes off, it's not your typical internet drama. No, this was a straight up decimation. Dana's main point? Jake isn't a real fighter. He's a YouTuber, a content creator, and at best a wannabe boxer who's more interested in making headlines than actually competing in the ring.
And for those of you that don't know, if you've ever watched one of his fights and you see when they do the stare down, the guy that's standing in the middle with the warlock nose and the big warlock wart on his face, apparently that's his manager. And that guy used to be an accountant for me. And let's just say this, he no longer works for me, and I think he's a scumbag.
Now, to be fair, Jake Paul's boxing career has always been, let's call it controversial. He's fought mostly older, smaller guys, Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, even Anderson Silva, guys who were either out of their prime or in some cases way past it. And let's not even get started on the Mike Tyson rumors. But according to Dana, it's not just the matchups that are questionable. No, Dana's accusing Jake of being a fraud, not just in the ring, but in the whole sport. Jake's entire boxing career, a spectator for a rake in views, clicks, and of course cash. And you know what? He might not be wrong.
I didn't even know the guy was fighting. When Jake Paul lost to Fury, I haven't really paid attention to Jake Paul.
I have love for Jake too.
Now, here's the kicker. Jake Paul is sitting there on his YouTube throne playing the role of the champion for fighter pay. He's made it his personal mission to expose how much UFC fighters are underpaid, especially compared to the millions that boxing champions make. But the problem with that narrative? It's starting to feel like another stunt. Think about it. Jake's boxing career is built on viral moments, not on actual competition. Every fight feels like a show more than a serious athletic endeavor. So when Jake tries to come across as the Robin Hood of fight sports, you gotta wonder, is this really about fighter pay, or is it just a ploy to keep his name trending?
You think that you can do it better than we do? We're doing this whole thing wrong. You could treat the fighters better than we do. Knock yourself out. Go start your own business. It's easy to do. Get the Warlock on it. The Warlock can get it started for you. What you and the Warlock should be focused on is your business.
Then there's Jake's manager, the so-called Warlock. Yeah, you heard that right. Warlock. And Dana White's absolutely roasting him.
I'm ready to roll, buddy. I don't use cocaine. Do you use steroids? Let's do this, Jake.
Apparently, this guy used to be Dana's accountant and couldn't cut it in the business side of things, so now he's running around managing Jake's career. To Dana, this is the perfect example of how low Jake's whole operation has sunk. He's got an accountant turned hype man trying to make Jake's boxing career look legit. But what's the real goal here? It's all about clicks, likes, and views. Jake Paul's entire persona is a marketing machine, and Dana White's just calling it what it is, a circus.
He fights older people that are smaller. It's all the same shit.
Now, Dana White didn't just stop at the manager roast. Oh no, he leveled up and straight up accused Jake of juicing. Yep, he's calling for random steroid testing for Jake Paul, claiming that those muscles of his aren't exactly the result of hard work and protein shakes. And honestly, it's not the first time this has come up. Jake's physique has been a topic of conversation for a while, and if Dana's willing to make this kind of challenge public, you know there's some real beef there. And here's the kicker. Dana offered to take random cocaine tests for 10 years. Yeah, 10 years to prove that he's clean.
Jake, you never responded to the challenge. You publicly stated that I use cocaine. I do not. So I told you could randomly cocaine test me for the next 10 years. I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test you.
Meanwhile, Jake's being called out for steroids. This whole steroid versus cocaine thing has blown up. And then we've got the whole Mike Tyson thing. You know the one. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. It's been teased for a while, and suddenly it's looking like a real possibility.
And was also considered a boxer, and he lost. So if you can keep fighting fucking 50-something-year-olds...
You don't think Tyson has a chance?
And making a living at it. I think that Mike Tyson has a puncher's chance against anybody.
But here's the problem. Mike Tyson, as legendary as he is pushing 60. Tyson was undefeated in his prime, no doubt. But today, he's older, slower, and facing a guy nearly 30 years younger than him. The age gap alone makes this matchup seem more like a setup for Jake Paul to look good than an actual fight. And that's exactly why critics like Bernard Hopkins are calling this out. Tyson, one of the most iconic heavyweights of all time, shouldn't even be in the same conversation as Jake. The fight feels forced, and that's what's fueling the controversy. So let's take a step back here. What we've got is more than just trash talk between two guys with egos the size of a UFC cage. This is a fight for the future of combat sports. Dana White's entire career has been about creating real, legitimate competition. Jake Paul? He's out here turning boxing into a reality show. And the question is, which one is going to win out? The purist approach to fighting that Dana White's been pushing, or the content-driven spectacle that Jake Paul is building? I'm not going to lie, this whole thing's been fun to watch. It's like a train wreck you can't look away from. But at the end of the day, we need to ask ourselves, what's the future of boxing? Is it real, hard-hitting competition, or is it all about selling the brand? Jake Paul's out here making millions, but is it because he's a great fighter, or because he's a great marketer? Dana White might be a little bitter, but he's got a point. Jake's been making money off of fights that don't even count. And if you're serious about the sport, that's a problem. So that's it for today's rundown. Honestly, the Jake Paul versus Dana White drama isn't just about these two guys. It's about what kind of combat sports we want to watch going forward. Do we want more real, hard-fought battles, or are we okay with watching a circus as long as the numbers keep coming in?
And the biggest thing about that too is that it is a type of style that you wear and tear. You wear it on your opponent. Over time, when you keep on doing it, it's going to pay out dividends. We're going to be able to land bigger shots. But when the rounds are only 2 minutes and you get a 1 minute rest and you only make first contact with your opponent within a minute and a half left, I mean, I can do play-by-play by the round one fight. Goes out there. He's doing peekaboo. Jake Paul is measuring with his hands. Measuring. Okay, it's a minute and a half. Okay, you finally get across the board. You're against Jake Paul. It's about a minute 15. Jake Paul grabs you. Get out of da. Boom, you have a minute left to work. So there's not really a good chance to actually get a rhythm going for either athletes when you have 2 minute rounds and 1 minute break. I mean, they fought for 8 rounds, which was 16 minutes. 2 times 8 is 16. Their rest was half of the fight time. Does that make sense? When you fight in mixed martial arts, it's 5-5.
That's a real fighter, sir. That's somebody who's still fighting and wins constantly. And to be fair to me, he beat Mayweather. I mean, that was a screw job and a half. And I mean, we knew exactly what was going to happen. Paul was going to win, Tyson was going to lose, and I think that's horrible. I think Mike Tyson never should have signed up for something he was rigged to lose. I mean, Iron Mike, one of the baddest, if not the baddest boxers ever to walk the planet. And he signed a contract just to get a payday. And look, I get what I'm going to say is going to get a lot of heat. But it notches him down to me. Greatest of all time is not what I think he is anymore. It really leaves a bad taste.
For me, I just feel like this whole thing was a thing with a missed opportunity. Jake Paul has a real chance to elevate the sport if he wants to. But if he keeps playing it safe, fighting guys who aren't in their prime, it's just going to be more of the same. And let's be real, who's next for Jake Paul? Is he going to continue his Legend Slayer gimmick, or is he going to step it up against a real active fighter?
The 3 biggest takeaways from Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I'm still in disbelief this actually happened. Number 1, what the f*** did we just watch? I'm speaking directly to Netflix's 280 million worldwide subscribers. Were any one of you entertained by this? Was there a single moment in this fight where Jake Paul was in any form of trouble? The only punch Tyson landed was the slap yesterday. I mean, Mike looked old as hell. He was not throwing back. He looked like he was on stilts. I didn't see his knees bend at all. And the constant biting of the gloves? Could anyone tell me what that was all about?
At the end of the day, though, this fight was a wake-up call for anyone hoping to see a return to the golden age of boxing.
Commentary said it was a tick he's done in many of his past fights, but I don't know if he's ever done it as much as he did tonight. The commentary even said, why isn't Jake teeing off on him right now? Because a lot of people don't want it to happen. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to see a 58-year-old man get hurt, but this is a fight. They should have at least told us it was going to be a glorified sparring session. I want a refund.
It's not about that anymore. It's about putting on a show, creating a spectacle, and making money.
Where's the $1 million outfit? Because I've never seen an outfit like that.
It's crazy. It's in the locker room right now, but I think we're going to try and put it somewhere to showcase it. But shout out to the shoe surgeon, Alec Monopoly, and Pascal for all making it happen. 380 carats, over $1 million.
One last thing. I love Mike Tyson, family. You love Mike. What do you tell him? Obviously, he's bummed out. He wanted to win.
He's amazing. No one cares about the loss for him. He got to cement his legacy, make a bunch of money, and have fun doing it. So that's all that matters.
Was this fight a huge letdown for the purists? Absolutely. But was it a business success? 100%.
It kind of dazed him. I was like, oh, shoot. But, yeah, if it was going to be a competitive thing, Jake was going to have to meet Mike versus, keeping distance, which he did pretty much the first couple, maybe 3 rounds. And after that point, Mike was pretty tired. You could see the legs were a little bit wobbly and unstable, not from being hit, but just from being fatigued and trying to keep his technique and his form.
And you know what? I'm not mad at it. Boxing's changing, folks. Whether we like it or not, this is the new era of sports entertainment.
Okay, so last night was the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, and let's just be honest, right? Who really thought this was actually going to be any good? I mean, the best punch landed was in the face-off. It wasn't even during the fight. And now everybody this morning's yelling about how dare they even put this on television. And I hear you, but like, let's be honest. It's not the worst thing that AT&T Stadium has put on television this year. This was always just a gimmick fight. I mean, the only good thing that actually came out of this fight is the women's fight before it. That was a fantastic fight. I mean, somebody got screwed in that one, but whatever. But now Jake Paul's out here chirping that he wants Canelo. That's a real fighter, sir. That's somebody who's still fighting. And
So, what do you think? Was this a slap in the face to boxing? Or did Tyson and Jake deliver the entertainment we expected? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more quick rundowns on everything sports and news. All right, that's it for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.